You're probably wondering why I'm sitting here. Brendan, why do you have a statue of Batman next to you? How old are you? Are you a teenager? Grow up. Two things that I love, guys. Notre Dame football and the Dark Knight himself, Batman. I absolutely love Batman. And I don't care what you think, well, you're 40 years old, grow up. No. There's one thing that I'll never stop loving, and that is Batman. And I will get into that. He is a badass. He's an ass kicker. He's the only human superhero that kicks ass. And he doesn't need a suit like Iron Man to kick ass, okay? He's a fucking badass because he's Batman. He's the only superhero where he can fly away on a jet, take a nuclear bomb, away from Gotham City, explode, and still live. You know why? Because he's Batman. You can't say that about everyone else. You can't say that about Iron Man. Iron Man was a pussy compared to Batman. Batman's a badass, okay? And before you Marvel comic guys are getting your panties in a twist right now, relax. This is my show. It's all a joke. It's all for fun. Read the description of my page. I'm here to piss you guys off, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to piss off all you Marvel guys today, because this guy right here, the Dark Knight himself, is the greatest fucking superhero of all time, okay? He's even greater than Superman, okay? Superman is like politics. Superman follows the moral establishment. Superman does the right thing. Batman doesn't do the right thing. Batman doesn't do moral establishment, because moral establishment and doing the right thing is bullshit to Batman's point of view. Because Batman does whatever he wants. That's what makes him a badass. Now, that being said, there's one thing that Batman hasn't done yet, at least the versions of Batman that I love, that hasn't done yet, than everything else on TV you see today, and that is politically correctness and social justice warriors. You see, perfect example, what I've fallen out of love with. The most current Star Wars movies. I am no longer a Star Wars fan like I used to be. I used to love Star Wars more, believe it or not, than this guy, Batman, the Dark Knight himself, because Star Wars was awesome. Growing up, Luke Skywalker was a badass. Growing up, Darth Vader was the greatest villain of all time, and the Emperor was the greatest villain of all time. And Star Wars at the time had the best special effects. Even today, their special effects still hold up. Then the prequels came. At first, you're like, these movies suck. It's made for kids. Where is it going? But then you start to appreciate it more because the evil Disney came in, and Disney completely destroyed Star Wars. They added social justice characters in there that no one gives a shit. Because I cannot stand when you try to force political correctness, and you try to force social justice into a movie. You completely just ruin it for me. I took a step back from Star Wars. They're in the back seat. Batman is in the front seat right now, because Star Wars and Disney, you ruined George Lucas's version of a great movie, a great trilogy. And even I can appreciate the prequels, because you know what? Episode 3 is a great movie, even though some of the story writing in it was kind of cheesy. Some of the acting was terrible, but that's okay. That was still a great movie. It's still great compared to the 3 last Star Wars movies that came out. I couldn't stand all 3 of them. The Last Jedi was garbage. Rise of Skywalker was garbage. And you know what? I'm tired of political correctness. I'm tired of social justice. But you know what? The versions of Batman that I love did not have social justice in it. And that's the beautiful thing about Batman. Batman doesn't give a shit about political correctness or social justice, because it's all bullshit. Because Batman's a badass. Now, let me get into the reasons why I think Batman is the greatest thing ever. When I was a kid, I remember coming home from school, running off the bus, doing my homework, so I would be able to watch my favorite TV series of all time, next to Knight Rider in the 80s. This came out in 1992. Batman, the animated series, was absolutely gold. The story writing was great. It came out in 1992. This is the Blu-ray version. I have the VHS version of this series. I have the DVD version of the series, and now the Blu-ray version. That was the best version of Batman ever. It was the best version of Bruce Wayne. It was the best character development of Bruce Wayne. The story writing for that movie was superb, and it's better than some of the movies that came out even before and after. Then they came out with their own movie called Batman, The Mask of the Phantasm. Now, the one on the other side next to it with Sub-Zero. That was a good movie too, but wasn't as great as Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm. Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm was actually the greatest Bruce Wayne version of Batman. It was the greatest backstory of Batman. It was the first movie to actually be on the screen that showed you Bruce Wayne as a young kid when he was in his early 20s in college, going through his life after his parents were murdered and how it affected him, and he even had a love story in there. It was absolutely a great movie, and today is still one of my favorite Batman movies. It'll never ever go away. It'll still be in my top 3, and right now it's number 1. Nothing will ever overcome it unless something great comes out after that. But right now, it is my best Batman movie ever. Then came out the Christopher Nolan version. This is probably the best Batman version of Batman. He was an ass kicker. It was more of a serious take to Batman, except for Batman Begins. Batman Begins was a little bit more comic-y. It had the Scarecrow in it. Had some hallucinations. It was more of a comical book. Movie. Then The Dark Knight came out, which was a little bit more serious with the Joker. Heath Ledger was great. He was superb. It was probably the best Batman movie ever. But going back to Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm, that was the best Bruce Wayne version movie mixed with Batman. Now let's not get confused here. I don't want you guys to think, well, Burden, you just said this was the best Batman movie. No, this is the best Bruce Wayne version, and it's my favorite Batman movie, Bruce Wayne movie mixed in one. But this is actually the best Batman movie to come out. Batman Begins was the second story to show you how Bruce Wayne developed as Batman. Started off when he was a young kid in a prison, showed you how he got there, had flashbacks when he was talking to Ra's al Ghul about why he didn't murder the guy that murdered his parents, because he thought murdering someone was not the right to go, and that the League of Shadows was too extreme. Because one thing Batman doesn't do is he does not kill. Now everybody's like, well, Batman killed another version, blah, blah. We're not talking about those versions. We're talking about my version that I love. My Batman does not kill. Okay, even though this Batman right here, Ben Affleck, in his movies, he killed, but those movies sucked. I just like that statue because it's a badass statue. Now, The Dark Knight was a great movie. Like I said, Heath Ledger was great. I fell in love with the movie. I've probably seen it 100 times. I'm not going to get into full detail. This is mostly about Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm and Batman the Animated Series, which I completely fell in love with Batman, and I still watch it to this day at 40 years old. The Dark Knight was a movie that no other superhero movie today will ever catch up to. It was a great movie. It was serious. They had the Joker. He stole the show in that movie, and even the dude that played, I can't even pronounce his name because I'll butcher it, who played Two-Face, was great in that movie as well. Christopher Nolan did a great job in that movie. I will always love that movie. Now, The Dark Knight Rises, the third movie and the final movie of that franchise. A lot of critics didn't like it. A lot of fans didn't like it. I loved The Dark Knight Rises. I thought it was a better story than The Dark Knight, as crazy as that sounds. I just think that it was rushed and it was all clouded. That's the only complaint I have about it, is that they just packed too much into it. They should have made it 2 parts. They should have made they should have made Dark Knight Part 1. The Dark Knight Rises Part 1 and The Dark Knight Rises Part 2, because it was all cramped in 2.5 hours. They should have just made it in 2 parts. It would have been a better movie. But I think that when Christopher Nolan had admitted that when Heath Ledger had passed away, that it changed everything. And I think that this movie would have been 10 times better if Heath Ledger was still alive, because it would have made Bane's character even better, because Bane was a badass in this movie. I love doing his voice. I love doing his renditions. I talk in his voice all the time, and it really drives people crazy. So, it's a shame that Heath Ledger passed away, because who knows how great and how better The Dark Knight Rises would have been. Actually, it might have even been different. Bane might not have even been in it, but I have a feeling that Bane would have been in it, and we'll never know. But getting back to The Dark Knight Rises, that movie was absolutely a great movie. And like I said, the criticism I have is, like, how did Bruce Wayne get back to Gotham so much? They could have cleared that up, but you know what? Like I said earlier, because he's Batman. That's the only reason you need to hear. That's the only reason why you need to know why. Like I said, when Batman flew away the bomb from Gotham City, and exploded, you're thinking, oh, there's no way he could live. And then at the very end of the movie, you see him sitting in a diner with Selena Kyle. You're like, well, how the hell did he survive a nuclear blast? Because he's Batman, guys. He's a badass. Because he's Batman. He's the only superhero, like I said, where you can say that. He's Batman. That's it. Because he's Batman. Drop the ball. That's it. He's Batman. So, guys, that's my favorite superhero of all time. I'm pretty much done for today. My voice is getting tired, so I'm going to end it here. I know I was all over the place. I'm still new at this. Let me know what you guys think. Who was your superhero growing up? Who did you love? Try to argue with me why you think Iron Man is better than Batman. Okay, please explain that to me. Look, I have nothing against Iron Man. Yeah, he's cool, but without his suit, he's nothing. Okay, even without Batman's suit, Bruce Wayne was still a badass. Okay, so please explain to me who you think a better superhero than Batman is. And for all you Marvel fans out there, just relax. I'm joking. Okay, but thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. If I was all over the place today, forgive me. I'm new at this. I'm trying to get better for you guys, to keep you guys entertained. So everyone, stay safe. God bless. And remember, Batman is a badass. Goodbye, everybody.